Well, welcome to another episode of Port Charles Chat. I'm Mom.
And I'm Brendan.
Thank you so much for joining us today.
We thank you as always.
Alrighty, so we're here to talk about another exciting week at General Hospital. We're specifically speaking of the week of December 8th through December 12th, and the day of recording is on December the 14th. Brandon, how are you doing today?
Mom, I'm doing well. How about yourself? How are you doing?
I'm doing fine. Thank you for asking, Brandon. Alrighty, let's get ready to get started. First of all, let's talk a little bit about Curtis. Last week, Curtis was arrested, and this week he was released. So Curtis being arrested, we do discover that he did have a conversation with Selena Wu. He does discuss this with Jordan, but he is arrested later on for because the police do realize that Selena Wu was actually the person that he met with. However, the police discovered they really don't have any other evidence besides that. And so he is later released from jail from being arrested. I will say this, Curtis did try to speak to Drew, and Drew did go to speak with him while he was in jail. And they were originally trying to see if they could kind of talk about some sort of a deal, but we never really went into details with that because he was released before any of that could actually occur. All right, Brandon, what were your thoughts of Curtis being arrested? And then finding out later, we found out late last week that Selena Wu was in on what Curtis had planned.
Well, Mom, it's certainly interesting when you think about where Selena Wu fits into this big equation. But we find out, of course, that Curtis didn't actually follow through with it, and we think that the timeline doesn't quite match up. So the question is Selena Wu still in town? Is she not? And then I guess is that all that Curtis is doing? Because we know that he said, around the time of the shooting that he made sure Portia does not go down for anything. So maybe that's what he was thinking.
Yeah, I don't really think Curtis did it per se. I don't think he shot Drew himself. The fact that he called Selena Wu, that was really shocking to see. I was not expecting that angle to come through. However, I do believe that Curtis did call it off. He said he went back to the office to kind of cancel the deal itself. So Curtis, in theory, does actually have an alibi because he was with Selena Wu. And then, and I think they said they saw evidence. Well, obviously, they saw evidence of Selena meeting with him, meaning going into the club itself. He does have a little bit of unexplained time, but in the scheme of things, the police realized that they have bigger evidence on someone else, and that someone else is Willow, who is their next person we're going to talk about. Willow actually worked with Alexis, and they were practicing her She practiced what she thought would be her testimony for the trial. But Alexis kind of let her know that she would not be speaking at the trial itself. But she did want to, but Willow wanted to actually go ahead and proceed as though she were really at the trial speaking. And so Alexis did ask her the questions, and they used Alexis's secretary as the impartial jury. And this is all, of course, just kind of fake. But anyway, and Alexis, in speaking with interviewing Willow and then listening to the thoughts of her secretary, they've kind of decided that Willow should not go on the stand. Willow's not quite happy with that, and Drew actually is not that quite happy with that either. But regardless of that, in the midst of all of this, Nina walks in and lets Willow know that there could be another potential person who could be implicated in the crime. And so Willow thought she was going to get off. And we later find out that Willow is actually on another monitor, meaning that when they check surveillance tapes, she was very close to Drew's house, if not right on Drew's house. And that was shown in, I guess, one of the security cameras that was found. It's interesting that the police took that long to actually go through the security cameras. But anyway, it was very clear that she was driving and that apparently going towards the house itself. Willow does later admit to Alexis that yes, she was near Drew's house. She claims she turned around, however. Regardless, she is they have evidence that she was near Drew's house during that time period, and Alexis is not happy at all. So, Brandon, were you surprised to see Willow on the tape?
Well, I was pretty convinced that it was going to end up being Portia, but then like right before they revealed it, I was like, no way, it's going to be Willow. I mean, because Willow thinks she's safe now, that she doesn't have to do all of this, and so she did something like, I don't know, get into the Quartermains and try to get Chase's let her see the children, something that she's not allowed to do. Um, back when she thought she was free. So now that she's not as safe in that predicament, yeah, I mean, Will has definitely been lying, and she said that she didn't shoot Drew, but I don't think even Drew believes it at this point, per se.
No, what there was only one interesting that happened, and I don't know how many people caught it, and it could just be my imagination too. While Willow was speaking, Drew kind of looked up and like he remembered something, but he said he didn't couldn't remember exactly what it was. And so our thoughts, well, my thought anyway, we talked offline, was that it was actually the phone ringing and that it was actually Scout calling the phone number. And that maybe he remembers that ringtone because he was lying face down. So he could have heard the ringtone itself. But that is just my thought because of the look on Drew's face. However, Drew is so stubborn that he's just going to go ahead and just say that Willow did not do it and that it truly is Michael or whoever it is that he's claiming at the time period. All right. Brandon, do you have any other comments about that?
I think a fun plot twist I would love to see, because did they say it's next week that Will goes to trial?
I'm not quite sure when she goes to trial, to be quite honest. I mean, I know that's what in theory they've said, but I don't know if that's really the week.
Yeah, because I can't remember if it's like next week, tomorrow, whatever. But all that to say, though, is that I think what would be such an interesting plot twist, I don't think they're going to do, but I'd love to see, is if Drew actually remembers that, like, something incriminating that's Willow, and then he just waits until she's at the trial stand, because that would be fun.
Yeah, that would be fun to watch. Or I'd like to see him confront her later. But anyway, that would be interesting. And now we've got Portia, who is, no one's really thinking about Portia as being a candidate for actually shooting Drew. But anyway, Portia has a lot of stress thinking about Curtis and then seeing Curtis with Jordan. She has stressed herself out, and so she has pain with the baby, and she is hospitalized. Britt is actually available to see her. She's not able to do much, but she is able to actually see her initially because Britt is a good OBGYN. And then in the midst of all of this, Isaiah comes. He's very concerned because he sees that she's not doing well. And so Portia just lets Isaiah know that she is pregnant. And of course, this confuses Isaiah. And Isaiah's like, is this my baby? And so Portia is honest and admits that it could be his or Curtis's. And so that part they do go through with. And I like that they are just point blank honest with it rather than just kind of acting like this did not happen. And so, Brandon, were you surprised to see that Isaiah found out about the baby this quickly in the storyline?
I don't know what's more of a plot twist, that or that Portia was honest.
Yeah, that I don't know. That's true too. And the person who didn't know anything was Trina, which is interesting. And so, but Trina has now been with her mom, and she does tell her mom that she's aware and knows about the baby. All right. And then we've got Britt and Jason. They had a moment. Last week, we saw that Britt did get a little drunk, and she was, I think it was last week, or maybe the week prior. Anyway, Britt did get drunk, and Jason watched her and kind of gave her medicine. Well, now Jason is back, and he's asking questions about the medicine that she did take. He's asking about how she's received the medicine. He's asking if he could actually have the medicine tested or evaluate just to see what it is and how it can help her. Were you surprised to see this part of the storyline, Brandon?
I'm still confused as to why Bert was all that drunk to begin with. I know that was a different week, but all that to say, though, is Jason being there and his overprotective self. No, that's not really surprising. I mean, of course, he's there with the vial and trying to get Bert out the mess, and they have a whole lovey-dovey moment, and then Bert's like, "Yeah, no, that we're not doing that."
Yeah. All right, and then Anna. Anna is actually being held captive. She is back. We are shown that Pascal is the one who's actually, at least at this point in time, temporarily or whatever he's doing, holding her captive and giving her food. Oddly enough, they gave Anna a piece of paper, a notebook, not just a piece of paper, a notebook and a pencil, so she could jot her thoughts down. I guess I don't know. And she's actually in a very nice place being kidnapped. She is not tied up or anything. She's pretty loose. She's able to do yoga. It's just the oddest kidnapping ever. But anyway, Anna is safe and is being held by Pascal and whoever Pascal is working for. We know Sidwell, but we don't know if Sidwell's the one who called this. So that's Anna. And then let's go to Valentine. Valentine is out and about, and he's hiding out at Carly's. They have a discussion about Charlotte and how he wants to know that he wants Charlotte to know that he is safe. And so they apparently have a little signal with a key and with a ribbon. And so Carly goes by to see Lulu and see Charlotte, but she just drops the key and the ribbon. And so Charlotte finds it, and so therefore she knows her father's safe. Carly is not happy about hiding Valentine, but Valentine just says that he just needs someplace to hide upstairs. And so she's going to hide him. All right, Brandon. And last thing, Alexis with Valentine. Alexis is questioned by Brennan. And apparently, Brennan has been reading Alexis's mail. And I guess he must be sealing it pretty well. But anyway, he's reading Alexis's mail. And and so Brennan has written letters to Alexis, and Alexis has written, I'm sorry, Valentine has written letters to Alexis, and Alexis has written back, and they talk about Charlotte, or so she claims. Anyway, so that is with Brennan and Valentine, and then Carly and Valentine. All right, Bran. Anything you'd like to say about Anna or Valentine?
Let's see. For Anna, I mean, we do see that she has a nice, comfortable space. It doesn't seem like she's been conscious the entire time that she's been there, only because she mentioned that she was taking like over water, and that she wants to know when she passed out. But it seems that she's been awake for a while, but not for as long as she's been gone.
Yeah, and apparently she's close by because, well, Pascal's there. So she's got to be close by.
Probably in the basement.
Yeah, someone's basement or on the ship somewhere on Spoon Island. Anyway, and then lastly we have Elizabeth. She has eye mites. Need I say more? If you saw it, you know what I'm talking about. And that's all I think I have for General Hospital this week. Brandon, anything that I missed?
And Christina gets her allergy shots.
Oh yes, Christina gets her allergy shots too. How could we forget that? But and Brooklyn at some point fights with Chase in regards to Willow because Willow wants to see the children, and Chase was actually debating about whether or not to do this, but Brooklyn walks in and says no. So that's that in a nutshell. Also, all right.
And Michael has the HR violation.
Oh yes, Michael has an HR violation. However, HR already knows about his relationship that he has with Jacinda, so it looks like he has covered all his bases. So, and that was actually kind of fun to watch in regards to how he got out of that situation. For those who saw, you know what we're talking about. All right, so let's get to our characters for the week. For me, it was just Curtis for me. I couldn't think of anyone else who kind of did more than what I needed for them to do. And Curtis, I thought, actually had a wealth of opportunity and did a good job with his incarceration and holding in control, but then being able to see Portia later and be concerned about her. So I like Portia this. I like Curtis this week. All right, Brandon, do you have a character of the week or
What,
performer of
you
the
like
week?
Portia too?
Oh yes, Portia. Why not? You know.
So for me, I am going to give two. And so the first one, I'm going to agree with you and say Curtis for the same reasons you said. And
Mhm.
then for the second one, I'm going to say Charlotte.
Oh, very nice. And why Charlotte?
Yeah, I really love her sort of rebellious, but yet I really don't care sort of attitude with Lulu and with everyone of that. Y'all are just being overprotective of my father. Don't try to hurt him.
Yeah, and then the other thing I find amusing about Charlotte is no one's questioning the fact that she is asking to go outside on a regular basis. She knows what she's doing. She's been trained by Valentine really well, and no one is questioning it. But anyway, that's cool. So I'm glad you gave Charlotte a kudos. And then as for amusing scenes of the week, I kind of had two. One was Liz and the I Mites because it was just a public service announcement or whatever they were trying to do. I didn't realize that I Mites was a thing. So anyway, so that was kind of fun to watch. And then Alexis actually speaking to Brennan and talking about the letters because Brennan was asking her questions, and she just kept saying, "What you're." The question is, how is Charlotte? And I answered, she is fine. What else can you get out of that? So Brenna's looking for code words, and Alexis is like, I don't know what you can get out of my letters. And so those are the two, for me, amusing scenes of the week. What about you, Brandon?
Yeah, Mom, I'm gonna say the exact same thing. I like that. I like how Charlotte is code apparently, and also that Valentine just flat out just jumped out of a plane with a
Yeah.
parachute, and and he's fine, no question about it.
Yep, no question at all. All right. As for touching scenes of the week, I had to think hard about this one, but I'm going to Jason and Britt because they did have a nice conversation while they were together, and Jason's just trying to understand Britt a little bit more. Jason, I mean, you could tell Britt wants to speak, but she is not going to at this time. All right. What about you for touching scenes?
Mom, I originally gave that one to you, but I'm actually gonna flip mine and say I'm gonna instead do Britt and Lucas.
Oh, they did have a nice conversation. They did. That's a good job. And you're not supposed to tell the people that you told me about Jason and Britt. But but that is a good one. That's a good one, Brandon. Like I said, I struggled. So thank you, Brandon, for helping me out for the touchy seat of the week. And nice job with Britt and Lucas. All right. As for missing scenes of the week, we have so many of them. And for this week, I had no idea Christina had allergies. That took me just for a loop. And so I'm sorry if I missed it. Y'all let us know in the comments if they mentioned this before. But when Christina came in and said she had allergies and she needed to get her shot, I was like, where's the storyline going? And so, unless they're trying to lead up to a storyline with the cosmetics line, which they could be doing that, maybe they are doing that. But in this sense, I think this is just a public service announcement about allergy shots and eye mites. And so, I would, to me, this was just extra that didn't need to be there without any context. I wish they had given it some context. All right, Brandon, were there any missing scenes for you?
Missing scenes. Not necessarily, but I will say Thursday and Friday felt really spaced out in the sense that there were so many things happening. I know an average episode has so many things happening. It's just that when they would come back to scenes of people, I'm like, oh yeah, they're in this episode.
Yeah, no, understand completely. Understand completely. I do wish they would have let Anna have some flashbacks a little bit, although she tried to talk it through. But that would have helped with how does she go from one place to the other. So I guess that's a missing scene also.
With a haircut.
With the haircut, yes, Anna had a haircut. I guess they were just kind of fixing her up while she was being kidnapped. But anyway, so which leads us to the welcome back to Anna. We surely did miss her. So welcome back to Anna. Were there any other welcome backs, Brandon?
So we have a sort of two thing, not necessarily two, more so that back for the week of Thanksgiving. Good gracious, was that just like last week? When we had all those welcome backs, we were like, we knew we were forgetting someone. Is the Outback, the dog, was back, and then Mom, I have a sort of interesting scene, potentially continuity error, but maybe it's a big reveal.
All right, sounds good. What is that, Brandon?
So when Alexis was talking about her letters to Valentine, they wanted to know what she spoke about, and she said that she told Valentine that Britt's back and Fred is back. Who's Fred?
I know. We both we had to rewind. I don't know who Fred is. And so that was it. If y'all know who Fred is, let me know what I missed. I could have fallen asleep on it. I don't know. Just let us know who Fred is, since apparently I missed that.
Well, I don't know. Maybe Nathan has a new name.
Oh, Nathan could have a new name. Who knows? The I did have a fast forward scene this week, and that was Chase and Willow together. I don't like the way they're going. I don't want anything to happen with Brooklyn and Chase. So I don't like that Willow's going to Chase, asking for things. If it weren't for Brooklyn, then Chase would have actually taken Willow to see her kids, and so that's something that kind of irked me. But that was my fast forward scene of the week. Did you have any?
I don't think so. I mean, I would like to see what the direction of this. That I know Willow has definitely done some suspicious things. I'd like to see Chase go down for it in the sense of like since he keeps saying that Willow's in control of this and that. Maybe someone just needs to take Chase down temporarily.
Well, actually, I like for Chase to be the one to realize that Willow did it. I think that would be interesting to watch and to see him turn on her. So, just a thought. All right. And then is it the where are they scenes? I think Ned's missing again. He's back from the hospital, but I think he's missing again. And Tracy, I know they've explained this, and I know I've brought that up before, but I do miss Tracy. I saw in the previews that she'll be back next week, so I look forward to seeing her. All right, Brandon, do you have any where are they?
Oh, I'm certainly looking forward to Trace because no one told her about Ned.
No, they didn't, and they should have.
Yeah, so that shall be an interesting thing to see for next. But in terms of where are they? I'm curious as to if they ever told Lois about that. Only because I think she would have come for that, even if only temporarily.
Yeah, you're right. I don't know if they've never explained whether or not Brooklyn told her mom or not. So that would be interesting to see. I look forward to hearing if Brooklyn does talk to her mom later to make a comment about it. All right. And now we're up to the who did it. And so this is my way of kind of letting you know what my thoughts are, and then this could change very quickly because it does often. So as for this week, I am saying that it's Willow and or Portia. So those are my two suspects of the week, subject to change for next week. Willow because, well, why not? Willow just at this point just seems guilty. Portia because it's so unexpected and no one's suspecting her right now. So those are my two people of the week. What about you, Brandon? Do you have any new thoughts about who did it this week?
Well, I certainly do believe it's between the two of them, and I'm not sure if if they could really do it as a Porsche right now. But what I've noticed is, like I had been saying from the beginning, that the suspicious people get more suspicious. I would like to see, like, since we saw that Curtis, even though we're pretty sure he didn't do it, did meet up with Selena Wu. We're pretty sure Michael didn't do it, but we did know that he's there. And they did mention that this week, that they found out that Tracy, Michael, and Willow's phones were all around the same cell tower at Drew's
Yeah,
house.
that's true. They did say that. You said Willow and Tracy and Michaels. Yes. And that would make sense because those are the three people who we think about. And well, Tracy's, we know that's obvious because she did call it in. And Michael, well, it's just Michael. So yeah, he keeps saying that he knows that Willow will not have the children, and I think he witnessed her. And, the question is, was Willow herself, or was Willow have a little personality disorder thing? So that's something that, of course, we've talked about here and we thought about. So who knows? All right, Brandon. Anything else that I have missed from General Hospital for this week?
Well, I mean, just finishing up my thought from earlier was that I would like to see Portia, I mean, have a sort of revelation that sort of makes her more suspicious than we think. In the same regard, like I said, Michael was there and potentially just stalking the whole thing. Uh, you know, we had it where, like I said, Curtis was meeting up with Selena Wu. We don't really know what Portia was doing, but I would like to see, even if she's not the one that did it, that she had done something suspicious. Like, even Alexis is suspicious with kidnapping Rick. Everyone has something suspicious going on. I would like to see what Portia's suspicious was.
Well, yeah, that's true too. Of course, she was with Isaiah. Well, not at that time, but we know that at some point in time she was with Isaiah. So I don't. I'm hoping that that's not her suspicious, and that they really do have a suspicious thing for whatever she did. But yes, so all in all, we thank everybody for watching today, and we look forward to speaking with you next week.
Have a wonderful day.
All right, bye bye, everybody.